Welcome back, everybody, to the Who's Accountable podcast. I'm your creator and host of this platform. My name is Mahael Abdul Kawi. I'm also a founder and a representative of the Accountability Party for Human Rights. Who we are a political vanguard organization, a collective of individuals who have chosen the path of self growth and improvement for ourselves and for our community. And we are also individuals who have taken the mission to stand up for, with, and by the working class oppressed people across this country, and to stand up for those overseas globally. How we do that, we will provide services and resources to these communities across the country as we grow and as we are able to invest and influence more. Through this platform, through the Who's Accountable podcast, other members and myself will be talking about certain events that happen in our society and our culture that directly affect the working class people. And this show is a way to highlight and expose these events and these people. And maybe if they had a little bit more accountability in their life, things would have worked out for the betterment. So, with that out of the way, I would like to thank those who have been watching the previous videos and keeping up with this ever growing platform. And for those who are just tuning in, I would like to welcome you to what we have here. I would like to, for this video, I'm going to be talking about, as in every video that I do, I'm going to expose Uncle Sam, our American system, and how that affects the working class people. Uh, and just a little side note, it's a very interesting path. This is when you really start to break things down, because breaking things down is crucial to figuring out a positive solution. And not every positive solution is going to be something that you want. It's kind of like a need versus a want. I think positive outcomes are more so needs, as in it's not always going to happen the way you want, but it's going to have long-term benefit. So when you break things down, that's how you achieve these positive outcomes. And just in conversations in your day to day with your friends, with your romantic relationships, with your workplace, and even for this specific conversation about politics and politicians and revolution and the working class, it's important that we break things down it's because we're able to get to the root of it, and we're able to see how it affects everybody instead of just affecting either yourself or a single group that you represent. When you don't break things down, you're still at the surface of the problem, so you're only going to react. And when you're able to break something down, you are capable of responding, which requires more work, which is something that our modern Western capitalist mindset it completely avoids. It wants us to always choose the easy way, because the easy way feeds into our ego, and if we're driven by our ego, then it just further boosts the profit, which is our core values, and not profit is how we live. So I went on the whole side rambling thing, but it's just funny when you choose this path and you start breaking things down, and you really start to see how Uncle Sam has affected every aspect of our lives. And I will definitely in the future probably be doing more videos where they're just a breakdown and an accountable look at just human interactions and how the people interact. Uh, more so than focusing on like the upper echelon and their corruption. I would like to have some episodes that just talk about the working class people, and how we also, again, to hold ourselves accountable, play into what Uncle Sam has started. Like, we can sit around all day long and say it's Uncle Sam's fault. No, he started it. But when you look around at the common folk people, we definitely do our part in keeping his oppressed tactics alive and fueling. But that'll be for future cases. For this video specifically, I want to talk about, again, Uncle Sam and what they're doing to keep us separated. And this is something that, as somebody who I've said in previous videos is not going to be vaccinated, again, not because I'm a Republican, Trump supporter. I have my personal reasons. I just don't want to take a vaccine. I don't want to add any other government approved product into my body. You know, it's one thing that I use their products, like, you know, computers and phones and stuff like that. But besides the stuff that's in our food and toothpaste and just other things, that we ingest, I don't want to have anything else, and that's just where I stand. Plus, I'm also in the case where until India or the whole continent of Africa is vaccinated, then maybe I'll consider getting one. But in the reality that we live in, that's going to happen forever, so I will not be getting vaccinated. But because of my place in terms of the vaccine, and because I'm now, I'm working around the working class, I hear the conversations, and and you can just see based off of what people are doing. It's almost as if it's like people having visible, invisible sign that I'm vaccinated on my forehead, and you can tell based off how they carry themselves, and you can also see that it is a common look. Those who are vaccinated is starting to have an archetype, and that was just my observation the day to day as I was encountered with more conversations about vaccines and being vaccinated. I have to in some way prep myself for these conversations and to like let people know that I'm not trying to be anti whatever. This is just my thing. You can do whatever you want. So because of that, you have to observe the common denominator that you see in terms of who will be enforcing the vaccinated, that we all have to get it kind of mentality. And that was just me. But it turns out that according to the New York Times, there the biggest vaccination gap isn't based on race or partisanship. It's based on class. They go on to say, it is common to hear about two different demographic groups that are hesitant to receive a COVID-19 vaccination: Republican voters and racial minorities, especially Black and Latino Americans. Republican voters, unfortunately, I don't like saying I hate, no, but I truly do hate how in our society, whenever we're opposing something, we use the worst case scenario, as a way to justify our opposition. And I believe, even on the platform where we are exposing these things, I approach it with the hope that there are people out there fighting, and that there is good, and that there is a coalition of people of different organizations and beliefs and cultures coming together to do what they can. But at the same time, as somebody that is choosing to speak, I have to help give wood to the fire through this platform. But we live in a time where people truly just focus on the small negative percentages and use that as a way to justify. So an example of this is, it says Republican voters and racial minorities. We don't really hear the reason why Black and Latino Americans aren't taking the vaccine. I mean, besides this article right here, this is not like a common news topic. There's no conversations in the hood asking like, "Yo, truly, what is your reason as to why?" And hearing their reason and understanding it. No, they're picking and choosing. They're focusing on the Republican voters. Again, not the New York Times, not this, but the majority of the mainstream news cycle. When they speak about anti-vaxxers, when the common people that I hear in the streets and that I work with talk about anti-vaxxers, I literally have to say I'm not a Trump supporter. Fuck Republicans and Democrats. Anybody that has been watching these past 15 videos know where I stand. Fuck both sides. But the reason why I have to explain why I'm not a Trump supporter is because the media has focused on a small, probably not small, but a percentage of the pie chart of those who don't want to take the vaccine and apply that for everybody's reasoning. And because we live in a time of herd mentality, of sheeps, you have to explain that to people. Or maybe if we properly talked about why people don't want to get vaccinated and show, and again, as I'm saying, go out. If you want to talk about racial minorities, go out to the hood in every single major city. Ask them the reason why. Go out to the farmlands. Not every farmer is a fucking Republican. Ask the people who just don't want to take anything. And then you will see in all that you have multiple reasons where those who are taking the vaccine may have a little understanding. And then if we were wholesome with our media, they would tell people, yeah, here are the reasons why these Americans don't want to take it. And although on this platform we believe that people should take it, we have to respect all that these are valid reasons for these people and that we should let them be. And for those that take it, you're doing your part. And we just ask for those who won't to still do your part. That is a very straightforward, simple, mature thing. You're highlighting your platform and what you wish, which is okay. But at the same time, you're respecting that everybody has space. And as long as we all do our respectful part for each other, it doesn't matter if you get the fucking vaccine or not, choose to wear a mask or not. Everything will be fine. And yeah, you will have some casualties as things reopen, but that's going to be expected. So the two groups seem to have different motivations. They continue. For Republicans, the attitude is connected to a general skepticism of government and science. For Black and Hispanic Americans, it appears to stem from the country's legacy of providing substandard medical treatment and sometimes doing outright harm to minorities. This is also why on January 6th, when insurrection happened, honestly, for one, I really didn't care. Two, I personally believed, and although they would have been shot, that every minority political organization that's against the system or trying to reform the system should have been out there. There's no reason why it was a cult that stormed the Capitol. And a good amount of that cult had reasons that I agree with. Fuck the system, fuck the government. Y'all stopped caring about me a long time ago. This is why I voted for Trump. This is why I'm here. But the majority of those people were just there for hype. If you're going to raid the fucking Capitol, have a mission. A mission that, it should have been the Black Panthers. The new Black Panthers should have been out there. The Poor People's Movement should have been out there. And again, yeah, we would have saw the Capitol Guard actually probably doing their fucking job when you see a little color up in there. But fuck, man. Seeing this is why in 2020 you have more minorities voting for Trump. You have more minorities voting for Trump because for the longest time, the Democrats have been using us. Liberals have been using the minorities who, unfortunately, are the poster child for the working class. But again, this is a modern sense. We accept all black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever part of earth you come from. If you're part of the oppressed working class, you are a brother and a sister. But these college liberals, these Hollywood elites, these trust fund kids, these fucking hipsters, these white feminists who are literally just complaining and tearing apart the minorities' family foundation based off of their specific problems. They're the ones that have been using our vote against us. Niggas been hip to Obama now, man. We fell for the hype. That's why when you hear praise, it's truly from somebody that reeks of an agenda. You know, this is they go on to say these ideas all have some truth to them, but they also can obscure the fact that many unvaccinated Republicans and minorities have something in common. They are working class. I want to say they all have some truth. I would say it's a good amount of truth. You know, Republicans right now, it's I'm not leaning to their vote for 2024 or even during the 2022 mid-elections. But yeah, no, I think Democrats and liberals they're losing touch of the class war. And so are Republicans. But it's their fuck because liberal and woke politics has taken over the political landscape. Even when Trump was president, that's like the dominant status quo now. Republicans are screaming fuck that. And what, contrary to what the media wants you to believe, most Americans hate liberal and woke politics. Like, you could be progressive and hate liberal and woke politics because you see it's a bunch of egoism now. It's been pimped out by Uncle Sam and by the capitalism. So right now, because the Republicans have this fuck you mentality and you know mission, of course they're gonna have a broader base now, and it just sucks that for those who generally just want to live their life and have a fairness in opportunity and a fairness of outcome. That's all human beings. We as human beings all are granted an equal opportunity. It shouldn't be dictated by those who just want to have all the opportunity for themselves. Yet that's where we are at. And there are people who just want to have that. And who just want to fucking live. And a good majority of that are the Afro-American and the Latino communities. Like, we just want fairness and opportunity. We're human beings too. You don't gotta cater to us, but at least hear what the fuck we're saying. At least, man, come on. And the vaccine is just going to become another way for this. It's another tool besides racism, besides education, besides health. Well, I mean, health. But again, I will shout out to the New York Times for talking about this, because this truly does need to be talked about. It's something where everybody has to understand that if you're white, if you're black, if you're Latino, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, if you're African, whatever part of the world that you are from, if you were born in this country, if you come to this country and you are a working class individual with a family, and you just want to have a thriving family, see yourself grow through human interactions, go out and just want to live life, we have to understand that we are more united than we think. And that Uncle Sam has been doing this for a very long time. It's 2021. We can no longer feed into this. There is no difference between people besides your class. And you need to hold yourself accountable and be aware and understand where you are at and stand with your side. Because right now, we have too many people on the working class helping the elites by fueling into this. Inshallah, with the current rethinking that is currently happening in this country, more people with a platform will speak up on it. Inshallah.
Based on class.